Hey everybody, welcome back. And today it's an honor for me to introduce you to our guest speaker. He's an expert in breaking logic and uncovering web application vulnerabilities, who has been highlighted in many media such as Forbes, BBC, HackerOne, and many others. An Indian who is working as a security engineer at Microsoft right now. He has also spoke in various conferences around the world and let me reveal his name. His name is Avinash Jain. You might know him by his alias name, Logic Bomb. Hey, brother. Hello.
Hey, Katin. Thanks for inviting me and giving such a nice introduction. I hope you are doing good. You are well at your home, and you are safe.
Yeah, same here, brother. So, thank you once more for accepting my invitation and taking some time to share the knowledge with us.
It's my
Yeah.
pleasure to be in your channel and speaking about things that I know and share the knowledge with the security community as well.
Yeah. So, guys, this time we will do something different because we weren't prepared for this, but we have come up with something. So, Avinash will give us some tips and his experience to get started in the career as in cybersecurity for the cybersecurity. So, let's get started.
Sure.
So these are some questions that we came up, which I often see many people ask me in DMs and all. So these are some basic questions. So let's get uh, let's get started. Yeah. So Avinash bro, the first question is like, can bug bounty help people to get a job in the infosec community in the field?
Yeah, I think if I have to answer this in a single word, I would say yes. Not just bug bounty, but anything which create the visibility of your work and tell the people, prove the people that you know something related to your job, related to your work, help you to get job. Whether it is bug bounty, whether it is doing research, whether it is publishing your conference paper, giving talks, conferences, uh, you know, uh, giving trainings. So all those things which actually create your visibility, proof that you know something in your field, help to get your job. Specifically to bug bounties, obviously, you know, when you find bugs in different websites and applications in companies websites, you obviously learn from it. When you look into loopholes, you know, vertically scale it, horizontally scale it, or maybe you just, if you want just a basic bug like brute forcing, access, or whatever, all of this actually helps you improve your skill set. And at the end, what you're doing is actually making a company bug one less. And all this thing eventually adds to your skill set. uh, and you know, it also financially add value to your account. It also increase your skill sets. And then it tells people that yes, you know, about security. It is not necessary that someone who is doing bug bounties or someone finding bug or loopholes, he's an expert or she's an expert in this field, but initially it helps you to get started. It helps someone to learn things, new things. And it also adds to your resume as well. When you share your resumes and CVs to your companies, that is your first impression. And first impression is your last impression. So when you add all those things in your resumes, that you find that you have found bug in these companies, if you share your write-ups, so that how you're able to find those bugs, how you were able to vertically or horizontally scale it, what are the logical bypass, all those things actually actually tells the other person that your thinking is wide. You think very deeply in your work. And I think those things add to your resumes, add to one's resumes. And there's a first criteria, that's the first thing which a company sees. If they go through your LinkedIn profile, or they go through your job profile, or your CV or resumes. And obviously at the end, it eventually helps you to get job. It is adding values to your resumes and CVs. And that's how people and companies come to know about you. They are good thing about you. If you found some bug in major companies, if you have written nice write-ups, which actually deals with various kind of escalations, logical bypass, very kind of manual bypass. So all of this help people tell that yes, you know security things, about loopholes, basics of OAuth, and your thinking is also deep. So yeah, bug bounty eventually helped one to get job, along with it's not just bug bounty, but anything that creates visibility of your work, which tells that yes, you have a certain skill set in a particular domain, help you to get job.
Okay, so beside bug bounty, I have also heard about hack the box as well. So does that also help?
Actually, I think doing the CTF, hack the box, all this at the end improving your skill set. It is teaching you something. Anything which teach you something, eventually it adds value to your learning skill set. It adds value to your CVs. It add value to your job profile. So yes, all this doing bug bounty, CTF box, hack the box, pen test academy, all these things eventually adding learning skills to your skill set, and eventually this certainly helps everyone to get a job or to start with their career.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So in general, we can say that it helps people to get you recognized to the company. Like company can see, okay, you have done something, and this is your work, which we can show to company. Right. So bug bounty is a
Exactly.
great way. Uh,
Yeah.
and let's move to our next question, which is what skill set is required uh, for the job and in the field.
Yeah. So see, to get into a job or to start with your career, the first and foremost thing is required, whether it is any field, not just security, tech, engineering, whatever field it is, your basics of that particular stream should be clear. Uh, Talking about specifically about security, I still revise my basics. It's been 6 years for me in the security communities, working with different companies like Make My Trip, Expedia, Cred, Grofers, and now with Microsoft. I still sometimes revise my basics. So your basics of your particular domain should be strong enough. I think if the basics are strong, then only the pillar will be strong. So the one of the most first and foremost skill is your basics, and then you basically build your pillars on it. Once your basics are clear, then you escalate it. You scale it. Specifically to security, you should know top 10 OS. If you're web app, if you're into web app, mobile app, you should know the basic of it. And then specifically to cybersecurity, automation helps you a lot. Automation really helps you a lot in automating the manual work that you are doing, that one is doing. And for the organization, people also want that their security programs, their security findings, their security vulnerability testing should be automated as much as possible, because at the end it is taking less time, and because the company want to go fast, they don't want to delay things because of security testing. So automation helps a lot once you enter in an org. uh, and also if you are a hacker, if you are a security engineer, you will be able to think like a security engineer only when you are able to understand a developer mindset. A bit of developing programming, a bit of develop background is not must, but it adds an value. I started my career as a developer. I was a software developer working on .NET for 6 months or so, and it eventually helped me understand what loopholes or a developer can leave while they are writing a code. What is the thought process of a developer when he or she is writing a login page or whatever functionality. I think that developer mindset helps you to understand from the shoes of developers, like what they are thinking, what they have thought while they are writing this logic or developing this website or writing a backend service of it. So having a developer mindset also adds a huge value to your security skill set, because then you are able to more understand what mistakes the developer can do, and then obviously as a security hacker go and exploit it. And I think, yeah, those are the couple of skill set which can help you start your career. Apart from it, nowadays the cloud is on boom. AWS is the largest player in the cloud environment. So many companies prefer that the security engineer should have a bit of knowledge about cloud, not specifically to cloud security, but at least what is cloud, how it works, and the basics of cloud. So I think, yeah, these are the couple of things which once if one's has one or once have they can get them started in the infosec field, and not just infosec. I think in general, your basics should be clear, and which is the most generic thing in every field. So yeah, these are the skill set which can help an individual to get started and land a good job in their career.
Okay, so have to know some basics about the security as well as some basics of coding so that we can automate our process, because the industry use automation a lot, and getting into that developer mindset is also great skills to acquire. So right, these are all the skills that can help us,
Exactly.
right? Okay. And another question which is related to this, like there are lots of resources available for learning the development process, but there are few good resources for learning security stuff. So can you suggest some for that? Any?
uh, I don't I don't have the handy, but I created my own arsenal. There's so many open source thing or publicly learning modules available, and it is very difficult to find out which is the best one. But if you're following a good security engineer, good security researcher or hacker on Twitter or on LinkedIn or social media, they share a lot of good program. They share their write-ups and all those things. I think HackerOne report is one of the most things from where you can learn about various kind of vulnerabilities. uh, in general, there's a lot of open source tool in GitHub. Recently, you have must have heard of Nuclei. So all those people are doing very nice job. I don't have them handy, but I think following the right people on your social media platform help you get nice tools or nice resources to get start in cybersecurity.
Yeah, regarding that, following people's, like I have seen many people in the community, like they are well known, and like they start making courses and sell to the beginners. There are few peoples in the Indian community as well who sells courses, and those courses, like they are basically not what we say. Not specials, you can say they are using open source tools and labs only. And what I want to say is, like this thing is going on in India, like people are selling courses and all those. So what do you think about that? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I Yeah, I think our open source community is so huge, particularly in security, that I don't think to get started in cybersecurity you need any paid course or something like that. Obviously, to take or to horizontally or vertically scale in your particular domain, you can go ahead with lots of training or black hat, DevCons, or various other good training. But to get start in the field from the basic, I don't think one need as paid training. There are too many good resources available in as an open source on public internet. There are people who are writing so much good blogs. Like I too have been writing blogs on my Medium profile, which is logicbomb.medium.com. So there are so many people who are writing blogs, sharing their findings, and have their YouTube channel, like just your YouTube channel. There are people who have their YouTube channel running. One of them I know is Asim Shrey, who is running Hacking Simplified, and there are other people also. So I think open source community and public internet has too many good resource on security for to get started in cybersecurity. I don't think one need uh, to avail a paid service uh, to get them started in security. Obviously, Pen Test Academy and all those are very very good stuff. But once you are once your basics are clear, and once you have started in your cybersecurity field, having all those public resources available in handy, then you can go ahead and go ahead with those paid platforms. But initially, I think there are enough public resource available to get someone started in the field.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And there are lots of resources available on internet for free. So we just the thing we need is a time and dedication, and we can learn a lot of things. Because personally, I have also gone through this period when I was not knowing anything, and then I started reading these many people write ups, and as you told, following some good people on the social media platform also helps because they share resources and all those. So let's move to our next question, which is how do you get started in this field? So even though we covered it
Yeah,
little bit, but to be specific.
yeah, I will get into a little deep in this. Uh, I started in infosec field. I think it's way back in 2015 when I landed into my first job as an software developer. But because my past work and my resume was full of network security, ethical hacking, application security, Linux security, then my team got changed to our security team in my first company, which was MakeMatrix. Fortunately, at that time there was a vacancy, and I approached my manager saying that I want to switch my team since I've been working in security for so much. Like I did a good amount of security work in my college and learned a good amount of skill set. And it was I was very lucky that I got my team changed. I think from that time, I started uh, I started as a permanent full security engineer. I started as an application pen tester, as a web application pen tester, doing pen testing of releases, features, and applications which are going live. I was again fortunate that I got a very nice buddy who is Shubham Mittal. Like people, I think most of the people know him. Who is now a co-founder of Red Hat Labs. I think I got started thanks to Shubham Mittal, who helped me start in the field, gave me a lot of gyan, and got my basic clear about OH, top 10 OAPs and other stuff. And then once I started finding that I started learning about also various other domains of security. I just don't wanted to just get into AppSec and then just doing pen testing. I started scale in my domain. I started exploring other domain of cybersecurity as well to actually find which is the one which best suits me. Obviously cybersecurity suits me, but which is the best domain in cybersecurity suits me. I started learning about network security and DevSecOps, data production, and all on various other domains of security as well. I think all those eventually helped me to add values to my cybersecurity skill set. Though I was expert in AppSec, but I want to be a kind of all-rounder where should I know that I know bits and pieces of everything, not just bit and pieces, but I have a very good understanding of other domain of cybersecurity as well. Because once you enter in an org, you are just not scoped to a particular domain. There are a lot of work being done in org from different domains, like from AppSec, cloud security, infrastructure security, DevSecOps, IT security, all those things. So you have a very nice opportunity. One have a very nice opportunity to experience all those fields. Obviously, bigger companies, have a very little scope. But again, I thought it was good for me that if I join a startup, and after my first company, and then I joined my third company, which was Grofers. I think working with Grofers, working in a startup helped me a lot understanding different field of cybersecurity, not just AppSec, but I got in touch with various kind of other fields, data security, data leakage. DevSecOps, CI/CD security, cloud security, network security, legal compliance, all those things. I think working in a startup really helped me understand and touch a base of different domains of cybersecurity. I think that's a very something which happened really good with me in my career. And yeah, I think that's how I started. And then I started doing kind of bug bounties to learn about top 10 OApps and web application vulnerabilities, because I think theoretically I know, but to practically know it, I need to get into real world. So that's how I started bug bounties with an aim to learn. I had a good job, so uh, the money was never an intention. Probably, yeah, it is for many people. It is an bread and butter for various people. So I started doing bug bounties, learning different vulnerabilities, and then I started posting blogs. I think that's something which I started doing from my from the time I started bug bounties. I started sharing my blogs with the community, and I think that's the only thing I could do to share my learnings with the community. So yeah, I choose an option to write blogs, share with the community, and people started liking it. And then I started scaling myself more, and then that's how I able to learn not just a basic, but I get into a very advanced or intermediate level in abstract domain, having known different domains as well, because I worked in a startup in Grofers, where I got chance to explore various other domain, and got an opportunity to lead the security there, which eventually helped me grow as a professional and also as an individual. So yep, that's how I got started. And then I and now currently I'm with Microsoft, thanks to the all-round skill set which Grofers gave me. And but also thanks to the kind of work that I've been doing in my previous startups. The last startup was Cred. I think those startups that really helped me understand different fields in cybersecurity, and become an expert in one field, having an all-rounder knowledge in different field. So yeah, this is how I get started in the cybersecurity.
For freshers, it is good to get started in a startup company, right? And then move to
Exactly.
the
I think startup tells you a lot. Like if you work with an MNC bigger company, the scope of work is very limited. But if you work with a startup, you actually there's very huge amount of work that you do, and you actually learn things from the scratch there, because at the startup you're building things from scratch. If you join a bigger MNC, their things are already built, and maybe you work to scale it. But in a startup you have to work from scratch, and when you work from scratch, you learn from scratch. I think working within a startup once in a career really helps a lot. And for freshers, people, they should try to begin their career working with the startups. So yeah.
also one question I missed, which was at the beginning, people also ask like which field to go, red teaming or a blue teaming. So what is your insights on that?
See, it is purely depends on the interest of individual. If he or she wants to break application and exploit it, scale it, obviously it is a red team. If someone wants to work as an on a side of fixing things, finding mitigation, and going ahead with remediation, for them and working as an insider to help build security firewall better, I think for them it's blue teaming. So it totally depends where someone interest lies. uh, so yeah, it's totally an individual call whether they want to work as a red team or a blue teamer. There's an equal opportunity for each and everyone. So at last it boils down to what individual have interest in.
Okay, and let's move to our next question, which is about the NASA bug that you discovered way back, right? And how were you able to find that? And what was some difficulty? Did you face any? Like, what were those? And insights
Yeah, I
on
think
that.
I think it was 2 years back, if I'm not wrong, 2 or 3 years back. uh, the vulnerability was related to the misconfiguration. I think if you read about where is kind of security breach that happens around, it mostly happens due to security misconfiguration in the tool or service that you set up. Many a times developer leave misconfiguration behind in their tools. Security teams leave settings unchanged and in a default settings, which leads to this kind of disaster. The same thing happened with NASA. They were using Jira for tracking their bugs and projects, and Jira had a misconfiguration where your filters, your project details, your internal users details can be accessed publicly by direct accessing a URL. I because at my company, in my previous to previous company, we were using the Jira, and I was trying to uncover that is kind of misconfiguration which was present in my company, which helped me really get to know that this kind of misconfiguration are present in Jira, which I escalated to find in different other companies. And I found that they are not just NASA, but they are companies which were from top 500 Fortune companies, which were also impacted by this. They have their project details, Jira filter, dashboards, and the internal user details publicly available by just accessing a single URL. So I just go ahead, created a Google Doc and find out all those companies who are publicly exposed, has those URLs, Jira filters, project details exposed, and then I reported it. Eventually, because NASA, again, when we call that term NASA, everyone it get too much highlight. Similarly, it happened with me when I found that bug in NASA. I was able to see what project details they were working upon, though it was a minimal detail. But again, when a word come NASA, it takes a huge, huge popularity with it. And obviously, I was also able to see their internal users name and their mail IDs, their phone number as well. So it took a very took it take the bug at a very large scale, took this bug at a large scale because of the name NASA. And again, because it was not just NASA, but every company, most of the company which were using Jira and had that misconfiguration, they were impacted by it. So that was the bug. I reached out to Jira team, I reached out to NASA team, I reached out to companies which were using Jira and had that misconfiguration to get it fixed. And many of them fix it, and many of them directly put out blame on Jira. But at the end, it is the responsibility of company who are using it, because they have that tool deployed. They are now the owner of it. So at the end, they have to make sure that those misconfigurations are reviewed, that settings are reviewed, and the tool are not left with default and misconfigured setting. So yeah, that was the bug that I found.
So it was a CVE, I think. It was a CVE.
No, it was not a CV. It was a misconfiguration. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a fun question. Were you able to find any traces of alien in the database?
No, no. I eventually hope that I find more juicy information, but there were minimal project details. But still, when even a minimal project detail about NASA projects can take things to a storm. So yeah, not
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
no
exactly.
information about aliens. Yeah.
Okay. I was really hoping that you would say something was related to alien.
No, no, no. Yeah.
Okay. So let's move to our last question, which is any last message to the viewers who are
Yep,
getting
I think
started?
that there are two things which I want people who are starting into cybersecurity or into any field to know. Uh, because like from my past experience, and I eventually started by like from base, from everyone, like any fresher, how they start, I started in the same way. I think two things which helped me get to a good profile in infosec, not just in infosec but in the engineering department in my career. One is obviously the basics. As I said in the starting, I still sometimes revise my basics. I still go ahead and learn about top 10 webs. So I think getting your basics clear is always a good thing. Not just like that, if you are into industry for so many years, you don't need to revise your basics. But I think revising basic, understanding basic to the root will certainly help people to go ahead. to scale in their career. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing, which I think which is very generic, if you are in any field, irrespective whether it is infosec or whatever field you are going to, the one thing is consistency. You should be consistent in whatever you are doing, whether it is bug bounty, whether it is writing blogs, whether it is making YouTube tutorials, or anything in general. Whatever field you are into it, make sure you are consistent into it, because once you're consistent, once you are giving a ample time of it, then only you will be able to see its result, its fruit. So I think consistency is very necessary in any field. So this is my message to everyone who is watching, whether they are fresher or whether they are experienced. I think consistency is very necessary in any field. Be consistent in what you are doing, irrespective what domain you are in, what you are doing, whether it is bug bounty, writing blogs, doing ctfs, whatever it is. Just be consistent and give ample time to it, and at the end you will surely see the output. You might see it later, but you will definitely see its result. So be consistent and make sure your basics in any field whatever you're into is clear. So yeah, that's what I want to suggest people.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And also, uh, guys, if you have any more questions, you can obviously comment in the below. I will share the question to Avinash too, and I will try myself also. So thank you once again, Avinash, bro. It was a great experience doing it differently than the normal videos, and yeah, it was pretty much fun for me too.
Same here, Katan. I think I really enjoyed talking to you, and also it is honor to be in your YouTube channel. I wish you best of luck. I hope you will do awesome in your career, and all those people who are watching it. If you have any question, you can obviously comment it in the chat, in the comment box, or you can even reach out to Kathan or Twitter, or you can even reach out to me over Twitter. My handle is Tajibom_1. So yeah, feel free to shoot up your question, and I would love to take it. Thanks a lot, Kathan, again for inviting me. It was again very nice talking to you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you guys for sticking with me to the end. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And until next time, peace.